Hey, yo, hold on, don't scroll. I got a Bible verse for you. Today is gonna be a long one. I'm gonna try to sum it up in one video, but we'll see if I have the time to do it. It's gonna be from the book of Samuel, from the first book of Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22. And it reads, "But Samuel replied, 'Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as obeying the Lord? To obey is better than to sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams.'" Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, this verse highlights that God values obedience to his commands more than religious rituals or sacrifices. While sacrifices were a key part of worship in the Old Testament, Samuel is telling King Saul that following God's instructions with a sincere heart is more important than outward act of worship. In essence, it's about aligning with God's will rather than performing rituals to appear righteous. True obedience reflects a deeper relationship with God. So then I asked, right, because this is basically a conversation between me and ChatGPT. This is basically what I'm giving you here. So then I asked, how about talking about this verse in a modern day tense, like sacrificing yourself for your family and things like that? So how would it apply in terms of, sacrificing yourself for your family and so on and so forth? What I got was, in modern day life, sacrificing for others, like putting family first or giving up personal desires for the good of others, is valuable. However, the Bible teaches that obedience to God's will, is even more important. True sacrifice is not just about self-denial, but about aligning our actions with God's guidance. In Romans 12:1, believers are encouraged to offer their lives as living sacrifices, meaning every choice and sacrifice should reflect obedience to God's purpose. So while sacrifice for others is commendable, obedience to God's calling is what truly honors him. So this is just basically telling us that as believers we should focus more on being obedient to God, instead of focusing on sacrificing ourselves for the sake of others. But then this had me ask another question. Say, okay, so how about sacrificing for the right people and it not costing much? Would that be an act of disobedience to God? This answer is long, so listen carefully, especially to all you people pleasers out there. Sacrificing for the right people, in the sense of making small or manageable sacrifices for those who truly matter, like family, close friends, or those in need, doesn't inherently go against God's will. In fact, God calls us to love and serve others, especially those close to us or those in genuine need. Jesus himself taught that loving others is a core commandment. The key issue is intent and priorities. If the sacrifices you make are out of love and obedience to God, then they're aligned with God's will. However, if you're sacrificing for the wrong reasons, like seeking approval, putting others before God in unhealthy ways, and ignoring God's guidance in those situations, that could be a form of disobedience. For example, if you're giving up time with God or compromising, which compromising means sacrificing certain values or principles for the sake of peace just to please someone, that might reflect a misalignment with God's priorities. In the Bible, Jesus even says in Matthew 10:37, whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, emphasizing that our love and obedience to God should come first. So in conclusion, sacrificing for the right people is not disobedience, as long as it aligns with God's will and doesn't cause you to neglect your relationship with him or his guidance in those situations. Balance is key. Obedience to God should always shape how and why you sacrifice for others. Hope you guys stayed with me on that one, but I'm just going to give a little bit of a summary of that. Basically, you can basically what I got from this is that you can sacrifice for others, and even Jesus himself encouraged us to serve others and love others, as long as it doesn't affect the relationship between you and God. If a person is pushing you farther away or doing anything that is making you neglect God in some sort of way, you should probably not sacrifice for that person. Because you sacrificing for the right person could be the blessing that God is giving that said person you're sacrificing yourself for. But if you're doing it for the wrong person, they could take it for granted or use it against you or so on and so forth. And it's just not going to work out well. So if you're sacrificing, make sure you sacrifice for the right people and the people that are bringing you closer to God and not farther away. This aligns with God's will and, ultimately, just brings you closer to him because it just shows his loving, his love towards other people through you and overall makes you feel good. Doing nice things for other people. So make sure you're not sacrificing yourself for, just the sake of seeking approval or, just for the sake of, or just for any other bad thing that you don't really need. Because the only approval you need is from God, and the only love you need realistically is from God. You don't need it from anybody else. So don't sacrifice yourself for the people, for the wrong people, for the people that are pulling you away from God, and so on and so forth. Make sure you're sacrificing for the right people and the people that bring you closer to God, and the people get that while you gave a blessing of God to them, they can give it right back to you. Remember, we're called to serve others. Keep that in mind. And so no more people pleasing if you're out there doing that. Don't be seeking approval of men or anything like that. It even says it in the Bible. I could even give you the verse. Let me go look for it real quick. In Galatians 1:10, it says, "Am I trying to win the favor and approval of men or of God? Or am I seeking to please someone? If I were still trying to be popular with men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ." So only seek the approval of God and make sure everything that you're doing and everything that you're sacrificing or anything like that aligns with God's will and God's purpose and guidance in your life. I'm learning this today just as you're learning this today. So we're learning this together. This could be difficult. This could be hard depending on the situation that you're in, but you can do all things to Christ who strengthens us. You know what I'm saying? We can do this. The weapons formed against us are going to prosper. Anyways, I love you guys. God loves you more. Peace all of y'all. God bless.